Real quick, you guys have showed up for the Xcel Functional Strength seminar. And we're gonna kind of go through a little bit of a journey of who I am. We'll talk about a roadmap to success, things that just help us with goal setting and helping us to getting to where we want to be. Also, we'll talk a little bit about Xcel Fitness and what we have to offer here. So especially Dan is new to the gym, so this will be some good information. Brecca, you've gone through one of my assessments.
Yeah,
so
I'm going on 3 months now, so.
Perfect. So with this Xcel and the Xcel experience, I just got to take the time and just thank Nate Brown and all of our staff for doing such an amazing job here. Rather it's helping with the members, coaching, helping with the clients, from the OGs like Mike and James and Emmett that really focus on a lot of corrective exercises, to some of our sports performance coaches like Rob, John Madison and myself. It's just a really special place. And when it comes to a special place, we hold a huge value in our community and taking care of our members, making sure that we have the best equipment. And again, just everybody's here pushing each other, and that's what the community is all about. And moving forward with the Xcel experience, what we offer is 3-day experience where you can come in and try out the gym. Dan, we mentioned you jumping in and checking out the gym in this next upcoming week. If it's something that's a good fit and somebody signs up, we end up going through an we go through an assessment, and in that assessment, we have an in-body scale that checks our body composition. We do a functional movement assessment through an FMS screening. From there, that allows us to see how well somebody's moving, also dive a little bit deeper into some nutritional guidelines from the in-body scale that we get by simply understanding somebody's metabolic rate. It allows us to kind of gauge and see what macros and calorie intake that they can take. And we'll go over some of that a little bit down the road. Functional movement, planes of motion, primal movements, these are all some of the things that we're gonna go through in this next hour. I'm really lacking, I need a little clicker so I don't have to turn my back, but it's okay. We've got a nice little laptop, so. Hey, they showed up. Welcome, guys. Oh, that's okay. So when we go through an assessment, one of the first things that really helps is understanding where you're at, getting to know what your body composition is. With the in-body scale, it's simple. It's not invasive. It takes 60 seconds. With it, it measures fat, muscle, again, your metabolic resting rate, and then allows us to track your progress for a trainer or for a coach going through classes. So that's really important as you start your journey. Nutritional guidelines. I'm not going to try to dive too much into this tonight, just simply like to get a little bit more into functional movement. But when we're working with somebody, trying to understand the 7 nutritional essentials, from protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, vitamins, and most important, water. So, and actually, we got a couple of the young bucks in here. Larson, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good. So these gentlemen went through an assessment just a week ago as well. Talking about essential nutrition. Do you guys remember how protein helps you?
Yeah.
How?
Protein, if you use just enough, it will help your muscles grow.
Yeah, help repair, rebuild, and grow. Bronson, what about carbohydrates? I see you yawning. I knew maybe we need a couple carbohydrates. What do they help you with? Hydrating. Perfect. So again, giving you energy, right? So these are some of the simple things that we go through when we go through the in-body. And again, I always preach to all my clients and try to keep it simple. Stay away from crap. Okay, CRAP is an acronym for carbonated, refined, artificial, or processed. I feel like if we could work on those and then work on the 7 essential nutritional guidelines, that would help tremendous. I mean, without even just following a diet, by following those simple rules right there, you're already doing so much better. Moving forward with, after we go through the in-body, we go through a FMS. Okay, it's a functional movement screening. Screening is used to identify limitations and asymmetries throughout the body. With it, we do 7 different movements. Okay, and I'd actually love to have us kind of jump up and try out some of these movements. The first one being a deep squat. And we're gonna go over squats, but before we do that, I just wanna see how well somebody squats in general. Does anybody want to volunteer themselves to come up and do an overhead squat? Bronson, come on up. Hey, so one of the great things is when it comes to functional movement, it's about mimicking our daily routines, our daily movements, the best we can through training. And when I have somebody go through an FMS, it's about getting them just fresh off the street, straight off of the sidewalk. All right, I don't want to see somebody that's already warmed up. You know, I want to see how well the body is moving on just a daily routine. And then we'll talk about how it's important and how going through an active dynamic warm-up would help down the road. So the first one is just an overhead squat. It's a chance to see how well the ankles, the knees, the hips, up to the shoulders is working as a whole. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Bronson, he's been so kind to volunteer. Go ahead and face straight forward and feet shoulder width apart. And so from the deep overhead squat, we're going to have the dowel on our head so I can check and make sure the arms are at 90, and then we're going to extend the arms. From here, you're going to go down into a controlled squat, pause at the bottom, and then back up. All right, and then we'll talk about it. All right, so we got arms at 90. Go ahead and extend the arms. Perfect. Feet are shoulder width apart, toes are straight. All right, now take your time and then pause at the bottom. I think he's done this before. That was good. Okay, let me have you do it one more time and pause a little bit longer at the bottom. Okay, hold it right there. You're good, right? Mm-hmm. Perfect. Okay, he did a great job here. Things that we look for in squats is being able to get the hips back and making sure that we're keeping knees in line with toes. We want to see that dowel staying over the top of the feet. You good? Good, come up. Awesome. Okay. Things that we do see though, you know, it's not always a pretty picture like that. Thank you, by the way. Okay. A lot of times we see a lot of tight posterior chain. We see a lot of knee valgus where the knees are caving in. So for instance, rather it's tight backside where we're coming down and they just can't get down into a squat or keep those arms back, and worse, seeing the knees cave in. Okay, these are all limitations. A lot of times asymmetries you'll see with the squat is somebody's hips rotating over a little bit, and rather it's from post injuries, lack of, again, limitation of mobility and flexibility. These are all things that will cause that, and by going through the FMS, it allows us to find people's weaknesses and give them a roadmap and help them with some exercises to better themselves and find the appropriate program. You know, a lot of times we're unaware of these limitations, and then we sign up for a gym membership, and then I'm gonna go and do what I used to do back in high school. I'm gonna do the bigger, faster, stronger program. I'm gonna feel good, and you know, and half the time it works, you know, but a couple months down the road, you didn't work on your stabilization, you didn't work on your flexibility or mobility in it, and again, it just sets us up for injury prevention. So by taking the time and educating our members and going through the in-body or going through the FMS, it allows us to work into what we call the roadmap to success. All right? This is where I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper with you guys in general. All right, I'm going to slide this over there. Understanding where you're at. All right, and that's our Xcel experience helps our members in understanding where you're at from, again, body composition, functional movement, and then also diving a little bit deeper and finding out who you are, okay? Once we find out where you're at, the most important part is where are you trying to go, okay? That's, again, our goals, our dreams, all right, our passion. After that, we need to find out how you're going to get there, all right? Now, I put together a couple things, all right? Going back to where you're at, understanding mindset is huge. If you've got negative talk going on all the time, if you don't believe in yourself, it's not going to transfer over to your fitness or your health very well. So understanding, again, positive talk and believing in yourself is something that a strong community can help with in a good gym. All right. Also, lifestyle. You got to pay attention to somebody's lifestyle. What do you do for work? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? Being here in Salt Lake City is amazing because we've got the great outdoors. It doesn't mean you have to come in for fitness and health. You don't have to come and work out at a gym. Again, playing sports, going hiking, going swimming, enjoying, again, the great outdoors is great. So again, understanding somebody's lifestyle is what we love to dive into. Next is your health. All right, understanding somebody's health, or for better terms, you understanding your health. All right, Chris?
Yep.
Yes. I went out on a limb on that. Perfect. Chris, we talked about earlier when you got here, you know that you've got some back issues. And coming in and knowing your limitations is so important. I can't help it, like I see it all the time where, you know, people come in and they're like, yeah, I got a jacked shoulder. And next thing you know, they're doing clean and jerks. Okay? Or I've got a bad back, but I'm still doing heavy deadlifts. So again, understanding where you're at is a huge tool for as a trainer, a coach, or for you in general as you move forward and go through your journey. All right. And then the most important part, can't dial in. We can work out as hard as we want. All right. But if we're not getting enough sleep and we're not working on our nutrition, it's just setting us up for disaster. All right, our body needs to recover, and sleep is the best way to recover. So I know we all have busy lives, but again, do you guys, I'm gonna pick out the young bucks because I'm guessing you guys know. But what is a good night's sleep? How many hours? Sorry.
8.
8's the magic number. Perfect. Yes, 8 is a great number. A great 8 for sleep. Again, some of us that have the busy schedules, you know, for me, I've definitely understood, like when I don't sleep enough, how it affects my training. But I also understand that I'm an adult and I have some deadlines, or I've got to write programs, or I just have a very long day and it's hard to get that 8 hours. Something that's helped me is I've got 24 hours to get 8 hours. All right, not all of us are gifted with a 2-hour lunch break, all right? But even just an hour, just getting maybe an extra half hour, a little siesta nap, all right? Going home, you know, maybe you get home before the family, or go home for the kids, you know, and try to get another hour in. You know, maybe I got 6 and I got home, I took a quick nap, there's 7 hours in that 24-hour span. So don't feel like you're stuck to just getting 8 hours at night when you go to bed. Understand you've got 24 hours. Take a nap. Take care of yourself. And the nutrition. Nutrition is huge. We kind of went over that with the essentials and staying away from crap. The better you eat, the better you feel. Hey, if you eat a Pop-Tart, you're gonna feel like cardboard. Hey, it's as simple as that. Like I said, I don't want to dive too deep into nutrition, but do you guys have any questions? Starting with where you're at? Any concerns? Anything that you guys might be going through? Anything? Yeah, we know we got a bad back. We're throwing them out there on the bus. Hey.
How to get more sleep. Just
Need to get more
lots of
sleep.
Kids waking up throughout the night, so naps are a good idea. Should
Yes.
try those sometime.
Yes, naps are a good idea. Tough when the kids are running around throwing stuff at you, though. Again, is it going to be perfect? I believe nothing is perfect, but we can be perfectly imperfect and do our best and try as hard as we can and understand that these are the things that are going to help us feel better. Okay? From understanding where you're at to where you're trying to go. I was trying to put together this presentation, and I was explaining to my family and some of my friends, and they're like, I mean, but really, like, how do you know where you are trying to go? And that light bulb popped up, and, you know, we can work on the SMART plan, and we'll go over that in a second. But more importantly, what helps me answer my question on where I'm trying to go in my career or my fitness, my nutrition, is what's the purpose? Like, why do I want to eat good? Why do I want to lift 315 on a clean? Why do I want to run a marathon? You know, these are your whys, your purpose, all right? And then find out what your passion is. Like, I would love to feel better. And I know that I have to eat better to do that. And then your performance. You know, make sure, you know, it's all about change and making jumps in your career or your fitness. But it does help to find something that you're good at. All right, that gives you interest, it gives you confidence, and it helps you with your purpose and your passion. But I could tell you, if you're trying anything new and you've got purpose and passion behind it, there'll become performance with it. All right, and we'll talk about performance with the next part that'll help you get there. Anybody have any goals that we want to talk about? Anybody? I know we've got a little, we're trying to get stronger over here, right?
Yes.
We're working on building muscle. All right, so Brecca, I'm going to use you a little bit, okay? Brecca's been an old member, came back after a pregnancy, is that correct?
Well, it's my first time at this gym.
First time at this gym.
Yeah.
And we're so happy to have you.
Yeah, loving it.
So she started like 2-3 months ago. And she's been taking my class and a handful of other classes like yoga and our group fitness. But more importantly, she talked about wanting to get stronger and the rush she gets from lifting weights, and that's something that's a little bit new. Either way, whatever our goal is, I love the SMART plan. All right, specifics. Like, be specific on what you're trying to do. Gentleman in the back, with sports, how can you be more specific in what you want? Let's talk about football. Hey, you're going to be going into high school, right? Yeah, so we're going into high school football. Now, being on the starting team would be amazing, right? Yes. So again, make that specific. All right, not I want to play football in high school. Like, I want to be the starting quarterback. I want to be the starting linebacker. Yeah, I gotcha. All right, but when we're specific, again, what helps is make it measurable. All right. Helping out with that goal of being the starting position as a freshman, you know. Maybe jumping and saying, I'm going to be the starting linebacker for the varsity team. That's maybe a little bit stretching that measure. Okay, so, you know, and I see this a lot with a lot of clients that come in and are really hoping for that quick fix or to lose a lot of weight really quick. All right, again, and that's something that I talk to a lot of my clients about and make sure that these goals that they're striving for are measurable goals, okay? We're not gonna lose 100 pounds in 6 months. It's just not gonna happen. And, you know, there's a lot of things that come into play. So the next one is accountability. Actionable, sorry. What action steps do you need to take to get there? All right. For them, or for Larson trying to go into high school football, he's taking the action to come into Xcel, look for a sports performance trainer, get that little edge to get him to that starting position. For you, hounding me for extra classes. Those are action steps, okay? Walking in through the door, okay? Understanding that you want to lose weight, that we want to feel better. Try to take those actions, okay? If you want something to change, I've always preached you need massive action, okay? Responsible. This goes huge with your support team. Who's going to be responsible to hold you accountable, to hold you to the specifics? We got this. More importantly, again, who's going to hold you responsible? You know, rather it's your wife, your husband, mom and dad, hey, friends, or a trainer. We're all here, and it just makes it really important to have somebody that has your back, that's there to support you and call you out when you're not doing the right things. Okay, that one is a huge one. I can't tell you. I've been personal training for over 12 years now, and obviously I've seen a lot of clients, and it's really heartbreaking when a spouse is trying to make change and the other person doesn't want it or doesn't support it. Why are you eating that way? Why are you cooking this way? So it's so huge to have somebody that supports you. And here's the thing, if you guys ever run into this issue, you know, and you're having a hard time, like these are my goals, and this is what I'm trying to take action with, and somebody doesn't see that, communicate. I can't tell you how many times, like, yeah, my wife, she just won't cook healthy. She keeps, you know, cooking all the bad stuff, and I just can't lose any weight. Talk to her, like, come up with a game plan. Talk to your parents. All right, if we're trying to achieve something, it's always going to take communication. So, and then time bound. Make sure you put some achievable goals that you can start working on accomplishing with some reasonable time, because if you start throwing some things out there and it's 6 months and you still haven't reached it, I'm guessing your motivation is diving deeper and deeper away from the positive end. So, you know, make sure that it's time bound. Make sure that, again, time bound and measurable, they go together really well. All right, if you have a successful measurable goal, it should be accomplished within a couple months, a week, whatever it is. You know, it could be as simple as in, you know, I'm gonna start going to the gym. Hey, that's our first one. Start making those little ones so you build that confidence. Moving forward, where are we at? Boom. After we work on all that, how to get there. And I keep it really simple. My 3 C's, courage, commitment, and consistency. Hey, you gotta have the courage to stand up for what you believe in. Okay, if you believe that you're gonna be starting position on linebacker, stand up for it and work hard for it, right? Challenge old assumptions. I work with a lot of people and I just don't got balance. I don't got strength. I can't do it. These are old assumptions that you've built in. So our goal is to try to change that mindset, all right? Commitment, being dedicated to the cause or the action. All right, more importantly, once you've built the courage, get the ball rolling. Keep that commitment to yourself, and that's where having a team, having support will help you stay committed. So try not to do it all on your own. And then consistency is the key to success. 100%. I can't tell you how much, somebody might come in and, sign up for personal training and, 6 sessions down the road, 6 weeks down the road, their personal training is done and they're gonna go out and do it themselves and they just fall off. Again, we do our best to stay in touch and all that, but it's huge. Like, you gotta keep doing it, you gotta keep practicing on it, and if we work on all the things that we talked about from the SMART plan to understanding where you're at and where you're trying to go, that consistency will come a lot easier than just playing the guessing game or the hope. Moving forward to the fun part. Okay. Functional strength training has been amazing for myself. Again, for me, as a personal trainer, I started as a sports performance coach and worked with youth athletes from 8 up to college athletes, and I was from Reno, so we had a couple pros in there, but not a whole lot. More importantly, working with kids and understanding that they're still growing and they're still learning how to use their body allowed me to dive into, again, how to move the body more functional and not beat it up through isolated training. Understanding that throughout the day, our body doesn't move through one plane of motion, all right? Something that let me back up a little bit, get ahead of myself a little bit, but understanding our planes of motion and our contractions will help us understand how to do functional strength training a little bit better. Planes of motion, understanding there's 3 of them. We've got flexion and extension, we're always in, sagittal plane. All right, most movement is dominantly in that. But then we get into sports, or I like to explain, getting into the car. All right, we have frontal plane, which is, again, lateral movement in and away from the body. And then we have transverse plane of motion, which is rotation. Every day we get in the car, we gotta have flexion and extension. We gotta move to the side, twist a little bit, so we can see we're, having those specific demands of real life activities comes into play a lot more than we realize. Something we'll talk about is a hip hinge. How many times throughout the day we go to help or pick up stuff out after the kids and we're bending over right here, pushing and pulling things. So functional movement has been great for me and for the clients I work with, helping people that have those back issues and taking some of that strain out, and understanding functional movement is simply body weight exercises. We can start compounding it with dumbbells and kettlebells and bands and different stuff, but more importantly, just being able to lunge and twist is going to help incorporate and strengthen the body. And I took a couple facts on understanding that it's proven to slow down the effects of age-related muscle atrophy. So I'd love to talk to you after this, or in the future, and possibly help you out with your back, and see if we can pick out a couple exercises. And I'm sure you already have a pretty good system, but definitely show you a couple things from a mobility standpoint. From there, couple ideas from a functional strength exercise standpoint. Just a couple different movements, from squat to overhead press, kettlebell swings. How many of you guys know how to do a kettlebell swing? Oh yeah.
You taught me, I don't know.
Yeah. And this is something we'll work with you guys as well. We're not going to jump up and do these, but these are different movements. Again, rows, push-ups, hamstring curls. But again, using our body weight and from different tools like medicine balls and TRX suspension bands, kettlebells, and you can notice, if you notice, like there's no machines in there. Again, functional strength training is, again, about using your body more importantly than anything else. All right, and then we have tools to help strengthen our body through those functional movements. Compounding different movements from a lunge to a curl, you know, from a squat to an overhead press, from a push-up to a T rotation. You can see how we're just twisting and moving the body. Things that help me get here are my primal movements. This has been my bread and butter. All right, anytime that I'm working with my class, with a client, myself, I'm thinking about these primal movements, okay? Primal movements, again, a pattern that we use all in our daily lives that we kind of talked about, picking up things from a hip hinge or pulling something down from the cupboards or pushing a door open. We'll go through 8 different primal movements, all right? Our first one is a crawl. As babies, we started crawling before we walked. Is everybody ready to do a crawl? Not necessarily, but we can work up into it. And the benefits from doing crawl is we can work on wrist mobilization. Again, getting better flexion and extension through the wrists. If somebody can't do a bear crawl, I can have somebody hold a bear crawl position. Larson, come on up. Yes. Now Larson, I'm guessing is an experienced bear crawler through his young age and his sports that he plays.
Totally.
All right. One of the mistakes, though, I see a lot of the times on sports in general, vast numbers through a team, is we tend to run kids through and just tell them to bear crawl without educating them. And it's something that I've taken a lot of pride in, and something at the beginning of my career that was instilled with me through pre-C speed school was attention to detail and giving the athletes or giving your clients a reason and a why. And again, just making sure that we're breaking down the movement and being an active coach instead of just a coach. So show me a bear crawl position to start out with. Yep, down on the hands and knees is going, yep, start on the knees. Now, real quick, if you were to do a bear crawl, let's actually, how much room we got over there, boss? About right here. So scoot back just a little bit and show me your best bear crawl. Yes, good. More importantly, what I noticed there was a flat back. Shins parallel to the floor. Great job, by the way. Now, hang out. You're not done yet. Go ahead and come down to your hands and knees. So helping out with just a crawling movement through warm-ups and whatever workouts that we're doing, things that would help through a crawling position is, again, that wrist mobilization. All right, and things as simple as holding here, pushing and working on that flexion and extension. Something that's worked really good for me, come down to your hands. All right, and then just having the athlete or the client move their shoulders in front of the hands and back. Okay, simple way of working on wrist flexion and extension, and then being able to take and turn the hands. So these are different things that can strengthen us through crawls. Now, if somebody has some limitations like flexibility or mobility, we can still work on holding through an isolated hold. So do me a favor, go back into that bear crawl. You're not gonna move, and we're just gonna lift the knees up off the ground, okay? By holding this position, we're firing up the quads in a flex position, the core's turned on, the shoulders, the calves are in the flex position, all right? And these are just progressions that we can work to help clients get to where we need to be. But understand, through a daily activity, rather it's chasing the kids around or crawling underneath the bed, All right, working crawls can be a huge benefit, and I highly recommend them. So you're good, bud. The three crawls that I really work with are the ape and the bear and the crab. All right, now I'm not going to have you guys doing any animal crawls today, but understand down the road, if you want to come to one of my classes, we'll definitely be doing some animal crawls. Inchworms are another really good one. Moving forward from the next primal movement is squats. Everybody does squats, and not everybody does squats right. Can we have you jump up, Chris, and demonstrate a squat?
Sure.
So when we have people squat, so go ahead and just roll through a squat real quick. Perfect, another great example. That's awesome. Go ahead. I gotta pick someone, I gotta pick on somebody. No. More importantly, a lot of the times, what we wanna see with a proper squat is an upright torso, making sure that we keep knees in line with the toes. All right, trying to get our femur below that horizontal point. Now, with doing the FMS screening, it allows, as a trainer or coach, to see somebody's limitations. And obviously, if I see somebody that can't squat below that horizontal part, all right, we're definitely not gonna start loading them up with a barbell or a kettlebell. All right, there's a lot of work that we need to work on through flexibility and making sure that we're doing the patterns correctly. I use an example since everybody keeps doing an amazing job up here. I found a couple examples, and again, it just goes over trying to keep that spine or that upper torso in that vertical point. You can see over here a lot of times that we get that forward movement, or we get the shoulders going past the knees. And you can see, just thinking about this barbell weighs 45 pounds. All right, imagine if I had plates on there. Imagine if there's 225 and that head and that neck position, all that weight and force that's coming down on the spine. By keeping that torso up, allows us to rest it on the muscles and not the spine, using our upper traps and our shoulders to support that barbell without it beating up, again, our spine. A lot of times when we get this rounding of the back, you'll see what we like to call the butt wink. Okay. So the butt wink is, again, hips, understanding posterior and anterior tilts with the hips. As somebody with bad posture, as they come down into that parallel, those hips will tuck underneath. And I've created so much. I tried to show one of my clients this, and I had the hardest time actually performing it. But, and so it's like, how do you guys do that? I've trained myself enough to get my hips back. But understanding a butt wink most of the time is bad posture and usually a weak core. Not being able to support our hips through our core will cause those hips to dive underneath, causing the knees to push in front of the toes, which takes away from our trunk, takes away from our glutes, and turns a squat into a quad dominant. And that's not our primary goal in a proper squat. After squats, it's understanding hip hinges. Maybe, yep. Oh, my words are gone. Imagine that. Hip hinges are crucial. If you guys could take anything from this, try to learn how to do a hip hinge properly. Because rather it's the squats or reaching for something, a lot of our movements that we use throughout the day all incorporate a proper hip hinge. Okay. Through this, again, our biggest thing is trying to keep the neutral spine and not having a lot of flexion through the lumbar spine. Okay. For me, again, if I'm going to do a proper squat and I don't have a hip hinge, my knees go forward and my hips come underneath me. So again, a proper squat starts by getting our hips back, clearing the knees and coming down. When we talk about proper hip hinge, from kettlebell swings to deadlifts, I mean, you see it throughout the gym. Biggest thing on a hip hinge is loading the posterior chain, being able to get the hips back and sitting back while keeping that neutral spine is going to be the best way to success on a proper hip hinge. All right, so next, primal movement. Oh, look, there's my words. It tricked me. Again, we already went over that. We're good. Oh no. The lunge. The lunge can be butchered a lot through just our group fitness, through just everyday movement. A lot of times we overstride or we understride. Hey, you can see in this picture, we've got just a simple understride causing the knee to be in front of the hip. She's actually doing pretty good, a little bit better than most times. Just like our squats, any good lunge, we want to make sure that we're coming down with proper 90 through both legs, meaning my knee is over my ankle and my knee is underneath my hip. A lot of times we get into these short strides where we're pushing forward, putting so much stress through the quad and the patella tendon and putting a lot of tension through the knees that doesn't need to be there. So again, when we're doing proper lunges, just make sure that we have proper alignment through the legs, again, trying to get them at 90, and then again, trying to keep that torso in that upright position. If I'm falling forward, most likely you're gonna see yourself pushing forward. All right, pushing again through the toes and through the knees and not engaging your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, your prime movers. All right, any questions through squats, hip hinges, or lunges? Anybody? All right. Next one is our pushes. Again, we see this throughout the day, whether it's pushing a door open, pushing my brother over. Hey, again, when we're doing pushes, it's upper body muscles through variations of direction. Again, this is where vertical, horizontal, and transverse, this is where those planes of motion come into play. And when you're out there, going through your training program or going through just a simple workout and you're not sure what to do, understanding like, okay, I need a push that's going to be horizontal. Okay, I need a push that's going to be vertical. So simple ones right there is a dumbbell chest press to a shoulder overhead press. All right. Transverse is going to be your rotation. Things like taking a medicine ball and rotating through the hips and pushing with the upper body. These are some more exercises that we can apply through functional strength training. Next one would be a pull. Okay, same thing with the pushes. A pull is an upper body movement, back, biceps, and we can go from a vertical pull, simple lat pull downs, okay, or pull ups, chin ups. Horizontal, again, seated rows. For me, I use a lot of the band work over here. Here at Xcel, we've got the crossover trainers, which are amazing to use, again, for shoulder therapy, back strength, and it allows us to do variations of different pulls from a single arm pull, double pull, and then rotation. Same thing is as we pull, we can, as somebody starts improving, we can add that rotation through the hips. And these are ways that we can add progression through somebody's training. All right. From there is one of my favorites, rotation. I think transverse plane or rotation is missed a lot through a lot of people's training, and throughout the day I can't explain how many times you probably reach up and twist to grab something. Same thing, reaching down and grabbing kids to pull them up to you. All right, so through our everyday, what was that? Yes, that is a perfect one. All right, shoveling the snow off the sidewalk takes a lot of rotation through the hips and tossing the snow. A lot of people, though, don't understand the two different types of rotation, and it is simple. We've got the movement with rotation, and then one that I think is lacked through our training program is anti-rotation. All right, an example of anti-rotation, we do a Pavlov press. Okay, so a Pavlov is a resistant band tied against the anchor point, and I'm gonna have that resistance across and step out and press straight out. Now, with anti-rotation, we don't want to see the body move, but we're still engaging those same muscle groups. All right, so for people that want to be a linebacker, like you've got linemen trying to push you all over the place, so you're definitely going to get some anti-rotation exercises applied to your program. You know, anti-rotation can also reinforce stabilization or balance training. All right, being able to, you walk out and you shovel the sidewalk, but you forgot to put down the ice melt. And you slip on that ice, those anti-rotation muscles can help save you and bring you back to stability. All right, so again, see where that functional strength training adapts to your everyday. Moving forward, last one. A lot of people would put this at the beginning of their primal movements, your gait, okay? Gait is rather we're walking, jogging, or running. Now, I truly believe like we're gonna do that no matter what, but if you do the other 7 primal movements through your workouts, you will be able to run better. You'll walk with better posture, all right? That one is, I like the end of that. I always tell people to get fit, or sorry, don't run to get fit to run. All right? We should all have the ability to go out for a jog, go out for a walk, and spend time with our families, or release some stress through a nice, good run. That one's huge. Again, if you work the other primal movements, that will come so much easier. We're gonna keep this, we're gonna kind of cut this one a little bit shorter, but why warm up? All right, so many times you see people coming into the gym and they just go straight to the weights. All right, and for me, I think all training is good if you do the training. Like, more importantly, let's get people in here and just working on fitness. Rather you like doing isolated training, you like doing bodybuilding training, you like doing Olympic lifting, powerlifting, CrossFit, yoga, whatever it is, do it. All right, but don't get stuck in just that. All right, my warm-ups, again, warming up the insides, start simple, build the intensity. A lot of times we see people go 0 to 100 really quick. So take some time and build those up. Again, we talked about planes of motion and mobilizing and stabilizing joints. There's a lot of information on there. I probably overdid it, definitely. But this is again something that I work those primal movements in. Okay, so take those primal movements from functional movement and apply it to an active dynamic warm-up. Again, if we could just apply an active dynamic warm-up, you've already worked on those primal movements through this. All right, again, core activation would be things that are going to strengthen the trunk up to the rib cage, from the abdominals to the obliques, to the glutes, the hamstrings, the adductors. Things like a glute bridge, laying on your back. I work with a lot of baseball players. I tell them, you want to be able to hit a home run? Let's do some bridges. Okay? Simple things will help build a better foundation. All right? Again, dynamic movement. These are exercises that are body weight. You know, it's if I'm going to do some back squats and maybe go heavy, I probably shouldn't just go straight to the barbell. You know, do some mobilization, rather it's foam rolling, active stretching, and then going into some just body weight squats, some lunges, some twists, things that engage the right muscle groups to get me to where I want to be. All right, transitionals. Transitional movements can be anywhere from using an agility ladder, Here at Xcel, we have amazing equipment like the rowers, the skis, the bikes, the treadmills. The curved treadmills are amazing. These are all tools that we can use to activate our heart rate and work on transitional movements. For my athletes, these are speed skips, these are lateral shuffles, karaoke, things of this sort. Active stretches again. Understanding stretching before we work out should never be longer than 20 to 30 seconds. That's static stretching. That's telling the body to relax. All right, so something that is huge is, again, anywhere from a 3 to 10 second hold and going through a couple repetitions through different stretches and movements is really beneficial to help you in your workout. And then closed chain iso strength. Again, if I'm gonna do a lot of pull-ups, things that help me is using those bands and doing single arm rows or doing those pal-off presses, things that help kind of isolate so I can engage the muscle groups through progression. And for me, the simple tool is I love it. Like, I love challenging myself, and for me, I love helping and pushing other people. If I can help you get stronger, if I can help you make first squad, if I can help you being more comfortable in the gym, I've done my job. And that's my why. So again, moving forward, you got to find out your why to use it as tackle and fuel, as Bobby Boucher would say. And that's what I'm ending with. You guys got any more questions? No? Right on. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your night to listen to me talk and throw down a couple fitness nuggets at you, and hopefully you guys were able to take something out of this. And if you guys have any questions or want to work on anything outside of this seminar, I'm always here and happy to help. Sound good? Awesome. Thank you guys.